Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. This is going to be an update video to the macro video that we did with ADA. This will be up above here if you want more reference to the original video, as well as that we'll be doing a lower time frame video which can be found up above here. So check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is actually go through and remove the accounts which are no longer valid. So we're going to come in here and we're going to discuss a couple of these. So we're going to go through them individually. Now, the potential is still here that we're within that bigger 5-wave move that we talked about in the previous video, but I want to just remove some things that are invalidated. We're talking about the possibility of actually having a triangle here, but we crossed this A-wave low. So this is now invalid. We're also talking about the possibility we could have had a bigger triangle here. This is also invalid. Now, what we were talking about here was looking at this as a W, an X, and a Y. Now, we've come down too deep here, in my opinion, for this to be an X wave. So rather, if anything, this would be looking for a flat. So I'm going to remove that count. Another thing we were looking for was the possibility of a flat correction here, but we came down too deep in my opinion here because we're looking at that possibility that this could be A, B, and C. Now we're going to remove that from the count, as well as that. Okay, so this is valid. We have the diagonal, so we're looking at the potential of a diagonal here. This is invalid as well. And now finally the two counts we're looking at that bullish possibility. Like we were saying, if we lose this low here of this 23.75, this bullish count is no longer valid. So we're going to go ahead and remove these counts now. So now what we've been left with here is a couple of things. So we do have the potential here that we could actually have this as W, X, Y, X, and Z. Now we were talking about this in the previous video, and what we were saying was the possibility that this Z wave could actually complete here. So this is still technically possible. We need to just be aware that this is still one of the possibilities, that if we do actually form something like a flat correction here to the upside, what we could then actually have is that this corrective move completes here. Now the key thing in this is we could argue then that this is a completed correction and we could be looking to move to the upside from wherever this wave completes. Alternatively, if we do actually see price move up here in a 3-wave move to this 86.20 to this $1.79, we could actually just have this as a bigger ABC pattern. So now within this structure here, effectively what we'd be on the lookout for is that if this is an A and we had to see a bigger B wave move up towards, for instance, this 0.618 would be quite an interesting level. What we'd then be looking for would be that possibility that we could actually see price fall down towards this 1-to-1 level here, which would be at the 0.884 region. So until we actually break back above this, even if this is a completed corrective move here, what we could just actually start doing is getting a bigger move to the upside here for this flat correction. However, we could also argue that this is not completed, and because of the fact that we rejected from this point with a 3-wave structure to the upside, what we could then see is a 5-wave move develop to the downside. Now the key thing is that if this is actually looking to extend out and this Z wave over here is actually not completed, what we could see is this could come down towards this zone here of this 1236 to this 1382. We have come down to the 1-to-1 though, so we need to just be aware that if we fail to develop additional structure here, we could argue that this move's completed, but the internals would not be great. So what I'm looking for here is the potential we could still be looking to break down lower here towards this 1-to-1 of this 1867, and that could then look to actually complete this as a Z wave in this way. Now the other way we were discussing this move here was that potentially what we could actually have is just a simple 5-wave move from the highs, and that would be treating this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then treating this as an additional 4th wave. So what we're looking for a target here is actually this zone over here of this 2059. Now we have actually come quite deep here. We haven't managed to hit this yet. I'm still on the lookout for that potential of a reversal here, but until we actually start to break back above this high of this 0382, I will be looking for that potential of that continuation to the downside. Some other targets that we could have here for this 5th wave, and now looking at this as a wave 1, 2, we've actually transposed this to the downside here. So this green wave 1 here at the 1769 would be the same length as this wave 1 here. Now if that takes place, that would actually look to bring us into this target box here that we have of this 2059 to the 1604. As well as that, if we do see extension past this, I would also be keeping an eye on this 1.618 of this wave 1 if we do start to get some extension within here. As well as that, we do have these other targets on the right hand side here, the red ones. So this would be actually the 0.382 of this wave 1 to 3 transposed into this high of this wave 4. So that would be a possible target area, as well as this 0.618. So we can see that these two kind of line up and these two kind of line up. So the higher target box area I would be keeping an eye on would be over here. Obviously we do have some structure here which could actually play into that idea of getting this fifth wave to the downside there. And now what we'd be looking for as well as that is we do actually have some naked points of control here. And if I just turn this on, we can see that we do have this weekly one sitting here at this 1800 area, and then at this 1545 we do have a monthly naked point of control. So coming back into these highs could actually tie into looking to retest some of these monthly naked points of control and this weekly one here. Alternatively, if we do look to push down a little bit lower here, what we do have is the potential to come back down here into this monthly naked point of control at this 1049. We have this weekly one here 0928, and then we have that possibility here of coming to this other weekly one here at this 0817. So I would be keeping an eye on these levels if we do look to continue to the downside here. Now moving back to this idea that we could actually have this as a WXYXZ, and we have completed here, what we need to be on the lookout for is that if we fail to actually develop a 5-wave move down here, looking for something along these lines where we'd actually be treating this as a 1 2 1 2 3 4 and 5 4 and 5. What we could actually just have here is an a 3-wave move to the downside for a B wave, and then looking for a C wave to the upside. So this would mean that, you know, potentially what we could be looking for here is a flat. And now this would tie into the idea that that Z wave actually completed here. Now, if this is the case and we're looking at this as an A and this is a B, we have reached the 1-to-1 target of this A wave here, and we've actually broken that low. So this is tying in with that idea that we could actually see something like a flat correction. Now, if we do look to continue to push to the downside here, technically speaking, until we actually confirm an additional 4th and a 5th for this move, and then an additional 4th and a 5th for this move, what we could still see is just a 3-wave move develop to the downside here, looking to target out these lower levels here of the 0248 to this 1861. If we did see price break down into these levels in a 3-wave structure, then we could actually be setting up for a 5-wave move to the upside for this C wave. So given our current target, our current structure, what we'd be looking out for is that potential to have a reversal to the upside for this C wave. Now, a common zone as an expanding flat would be this 04959 to this 06376 region for the C wave. If we did see a move up in this way where this is A, B, and C, this could actually tie into this just being a flat correction. Now, if this is the case and this is just a flat like this, what we would then be on the lookout for is, like I said, we're looking for that possibility that even if this is a corrective move, we could still face rejection here towards it between this 179 to this 08620. So what we could get is that either this becomes A, we get a B, and then we get a C, or alternatively this becomes A, we find support again, and then we actually look to push up higher into this range. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these levels as price actually develops here. If we just break down directly, like I said, for that 5-wave move, however, we have two possibilities where we can count this as either a 5-wave structure to the downside, or we can break this up in this way here, where we treat this as WXYX. And then this would be A, B, and C for that Z wave, which would look to push us down deeper here. So we need to just be aware that, you know, if we do get a 5-wave move that actually gets good structure here, then I'd be leaning more towards that 5-wave move or towards the idea that this is A, B, and C. If, however, we start to reverse to the upside here, then my primary expectation would be that this Z wave actually completed over here. And then we could actually be looking for a corrective move to the upside. So where this would actually then form an A wave, we get a 3-wave move down for a B, and then potentially would be looking for a C wave to the upside, something like this, looking to actually push up. But really, until we actually start to break some of these key zones, so this high here, like I said, of this 3878, I would be primarily looking for that continuation to the downside. Now, this all ties into two bigger time frame counts here, where we are talking about this possibility that from further back here, we could look at this as either a corrective move where this is ABC into this high for an A wave, in which case we were looking for that potential of a bigger corrective move here in an A, B, and a C, looking for this possibility of coming back towards this zone here of this 00298 to this 00531. Now, we have actually come down into that 50% mark, which is currently sitting here at this 00298. So because we've actually come into this, I want to see how price reacts. If we continue to face rejection, what we could actually see is that continuation to the downside. If, however, we start to break back up here and we start to take these highs, then that idea of that flat comes into play, and what we could actually be looking at is a completed B wave over here, in which case we could actually look to start to push to the upside directly. And obviously we don't have this this A wave length here, but just based off of this as a C wave, what we could then argue would be that possibility of actually seeing a push up towards this zone here of this $42 for a 1-to-1 if this is completed. However, we'd still need to be on the lookout for that idea that we could still face rejection here and then actually look to break down still. So gonna have to keep an eye on those levels if we do start moving up like that. The other way we were discussing it is that we had this as a 1-2, and then we're looking at this potentially as another 1-2 here. So this is why if we are looking to complete here into this 50% zone, what we could actually see is price start to move to the upside from here, where we could start to develop 5-wave structure. But the key thing is here, you know, if this is a completed corrective move into this low, what we need to see is good 5-wave structure up. Then we'd need to find support. Then we'd be looking for an additional 5-wave structure, looking to push us towards that 1.618 of this move. Now, if we're looking at this structure in this way, it could also be possible that, you know, we could argue that we have something like a diagonal pattern here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. If we just get a smaller 5-wave move, which doesn't actually reach these higher targets here, what we could actually see is price could actually just you know, start to fall away here, and this could actually just be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal, and then we actually see price fall back down for a bigger corrective move. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. So at the moment, you know, we've reached one of the target zones, but we've reached the higher end of it. Technically speaking, we can come all the way down to this 0.0534 as a retracement and still look for that possibility of continuation to the upside. We're gonna have to just keep an eye on this and see how it develops. Another thing we were talking about in the previous video was actually looking for the potential that we could find support on the speed fan, and we can see that we actually did come down here to this blue line like we were talking about. Now what I want to see here is whether we actually continue to maintain above this orange line here. If we do, what this could mean is we could actually see a price move up towards this top gray line here again, and actually looking to retest some of these levels higher up here towards this zone here of this 37.52. As well as that, if we do see price actually start to break back above this one, what we could actually see is this come in as support and looking to actually bring us back into this channel. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it, see if the price actually pushes us back up here, and see how we react to those levels. Like I said, there will be a lower time frame video which is going to be going over the micro counting, so make sure that you watch that. That's going to be linked up above there, so check it out if you haven't already. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.